to really know for sure. But it's a really promising hint that it could work. And that's gotten, the scientists that we spoke to fairly optimistic about it.
Katie, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Just at the end, right?
On Sunday, the Times reported that the Trump administration is working with 4 states, California, Florida, Minnesota, and North Dakota, as well as the city of Philadelphia, to develop plans for distributing.
Live from NPR News, I'm Corva Coleman. Stocks opened modestly higher this morning as the Commerce Department reported a bigger than expected jump in home building. NPR's Scott Horsley reports since the Dow Jones Industrial Average has now fallen about 30 points.
Housing starts jumped more than 22% in July, building on gains in May and June. After a sharp drop in the early months of the pandemic, the building boom looks set to continue, with applications for new building permits also up nearly 19% in July. The National Association of Home Builders said this week builders' confidence is at a record high, thanks to strong demand for housing and rock-bottom interest rates. With unemployment still in double digits, though, some homeowners are having trouble keeping up with their house payments. Nearly 16% of borrowers with FHA mortgages are behind on their loans. That's the highest delinquency rate since the late 1970s. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
The Democratic National Convention got underway online last night. The keynote speaker was former First Lady Michelle Obama. She criticized President Trump as someone not fit for the presidency.
You simply cannot fake your way through this job. As I've said before, being president doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are.
That's right. President Trump responded with criticism of his own today on Twitter. He repeated a conspiracy theory that the Obama administration allegedly committed treason by spying on his campaign. That is false. 100 years ago today, Tennessee became the 36th and final state needed to ratify the 19th Amendment, which secured for women the right to vote. As NPR's Melissa Block reports, many centennial celebrations have been postponed or pushed online because of the pandemic.
Suffrage centennial parades? Not this year, though you might still find a car parade to mark the anniversary. Today, the U.S. Mint starts issuing a women's suffrage centennial silver dollar. It depicts 3 suffragists and the phrase "Votes for Women" on the front of a ballot box. Starting Saturday, the U.S. Postal Service will issue a 19th Amendment stamp showing a parade of suffragists in white marching with banners. While the 19th Amendment promised women the right to vote, many women of color would continue to be excluded from that promise for decades. Melissa Block, NPR News.
Meanwhile, President Trump has announced that he will pardon women's rights and anti-slavery activist Susan B. Anthony. The co-founder of the National Women's Suffrage Association was arrested in 1872 for voting. Anthony had violated laws that only allowed men to cast ballots. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is now down about 28 points at 27,816. The Nasdaq is up 41 points at 11,171. It's NPR.
And this is WNYC in New York. Good morning, I'm Sean Carlson. Some New York political activists are concerned progressive and younger voices are not being represented at the Democratic National Convention. Jamal Bowman is the Democratic nominee for New York's 16th Congressional District, which includes parts of the Bronx and Westchester. He told NPR's Morning Edition that the convention needs to be more representative of his constituents.
I think that's the conversation we need to have going forward. How's the DNC and the Democratic Party overall connecting to more diverse, younger voters on a consistent basis?
Bowman criticized organizers for only giving progressive Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez 60 seconds.
Only 1 minute!
Program. Former President Bill Clinton and former Second Lady Jill Biden are expected to also speak tonight. You can catch that coverage starting at 9.
Dr. Jill Biden.
Several political candidates and rank-and-file voters are suing President Trump and the head of the Postal Service. They want to force adequate funding so that absentee and mail-in ballots reach their destinations on time this fall. The lawsuit filed yesterday in Manhattan federal court alleges that Trump and Postmaster General Louis DeJoy are trying to sabotage the November elections. Among the 16 plaintiffs are incumbent New York State Senator Alessandra Biaggi, and Democratic nominee for the state's 17th congressional district, Mondaire Jones. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy says most Jersey Shore bars are doing a much better job of enforcing